right, guys, last night I went to see the Rise of Skywalker, and I'm telling you right now, I am not going to be able to do this video without crying. So if you cannot handle a crying, sobbing woman talking about Star Wars, you need to move on, because I have been sort of sobbing all morning just thinking about what we went through watching the final Star Wars movie. I wrote a really long blog post about this at 5 a.m. and I was a mess. I was a mess going through it again. And now I'm going to do it again to myself on video. I don't know why, but here we go. Basically, I have never seen Adam Driver in any other movie besides Star Wars. I know that there are big Adam Driver fans. I know that I'm not on that bandwagon. I'm sorry. And, I only knew him as Kylo Ren, and I wasn't part of that whole, cult fanatic thing that people have with him, that he's such a good actor. I just didn't know. I just thought he was Kylo Ren and that was it. And the morning that I went to go see Star Wars, I had put on Netflix and I watched a little bit of that movie Marriage. And he was amazing in that movie. So much, in fact, that I actually had to turn the movie off because it was making me so sad. It was hitting me so hard about the subtle changes from, being together, loving, the breaking down of a marriage, and then the utter default of, this is what I want and I don't care about you anymore. And it was awful. I couldn't watch the movie because he was hitting me so hard with his acting. And so when I was going into the theater, I had a different view of Adam Driver, and I was excited to see what he was going to do with Kylo Ren, because last year when we watched The Last Jedi, we saw the cracking of Kylo Ren, and we saw that there was more to him. He wasn't truly evil, as most villains are. Every good villain has been hurt, has been abused, has been given this ultimate amazing backstory, which at the end of their story, you end up rooting and loving for the villain. You love the villain at the end. Of a really good villain, you root for him at the end of his time. And so I felt that with Kylo Ren, we were going to get that story with him. I knew that at some way, we were going to see a Jedi. I was a mess in the theater. I knew that we were going to see a Jedi at the end of the Star Wars saga. And I knew that even though we've been watching Finn and we've been watching Rey, I knew that this movie was going to be about Kylo. I am a mess. Okay. So Rey, I want to say also, when we were introduced with her in Rogue One, if you remember, and if you're like a real fanatic like me and you know that you're like obsessing with these movies, if you remember in Rogue One, she kept screaming in that movie, "Stop holding my hand." So when they found her and everybody was like trying to escape and they were in all these battles, people were like literally trying to hold her hand and they were trying to protect her and they were trying to make sure that she was okay. And she kept saying over and over again, you have to rewatch the movie. I remember this because I wrote a post about this. She kept saying, "Stop holding my hand." That was something she actually kept saying in the script over and over again. And the reason why I remember this is because I had just interviewed George Lucas for Strange Magic. He created some cartoon for Strange Magic. And I interviewed him, and he said something that really didn't settle well with me during the interview, and it upset me. And he said, they said to him, "Well, why did you create this video, this movie for this cartoon? Like, you're doing Star Wars and lightsabers and stormtroopers, and now we're doing singing fairies. Like, what happened, George?" And he sat back in his chair and he said, "Well, I had all these movies for the boys, and I have these daughters, and I wanted to finally make a movie for my girls." And I was sitting in this room with him, and I thought to myself, wait a minute, this Star Wars is for me. Like, what are you talking about, George? Those movies were for me too. So I had just come out of that interview. I'm sitting watching Rogue One, and she's screaming, "Stop holding my hand." And this was right after Disney took over from George. They took over the movie. and they took over the rights, and they made their first Star Wars movie. And I was bawling because I finally had a female character that wasn't in a gold bikini, that wasn't chained up next to an alien, and she was saying, I don't need you. I got this. Stop holding my hand. So now I'm bawling in Rogue One because I have a female lead that is taking control, that doesn't need help, and she's doing it. Fast forward to this movie, The Rise of Skywalker, and we have Kylo Ren asking for Rey's hand. He would not take her hand. He refused to forcefully take her hand. He kept saying over and over again, I want your hand. I want you to give me your hand. And he's like, I'm not gonna take it for you. When you are ready to give me your hand, I will be here to take it from you. We will rule side by side. And so from Rogue One, stop holding my hand, to the last movie, please give me your hand. When you're ready, I will take this hand. We saw very different men surrounding Rey, and it was how she handled these men in her life that defined her story. She was finding herself, she was growing, she was becoming more powerful, she was figuring out who she was. And it was her relationship with these men that helped her do just that. Now, Kylo Ren had his story was just the ultimate story. I know Rey's arc was the one that we all followed and we all loved, but Kylo's story was the one that just crippled me. It crippled me in the theater to the point that I was like hyperventilating, because he was raised to believe, by confusion at first, that he had this mission to be evil because of blood, because of history, because of legacy, because of destiny. And he finally got to the point where he realized that through love, that he didn't have to do these things. Oh my God. I cannot, like literally, I was like, you had to see me. You can't go to the movies with me. You can't go to the movies with me. And when he realized that he didn't have to do these things, and he suffered through the mistakes that he made by killing his father, he knew as he was doing all these things, he knew they were wrong. Even though he was the villain, he knew that they were still wrong. But he had to do them because that was what was expected of him. And when he finally accepted that he didn't have to be what was expected of him, from his birthright, his blood right, his legacy, he released it all. He threw that lightsaber into the water. Oh my gosh. And he went after the girl of his dreams, and he finally became Ben again. Sobbing mess. And you know, that final scene where they finally kissed and he gave his life to her. I thought to myself, this is a love story. As much as this is galaxy fighting and battles and everything on the line and planet explosions and all of that, as much as this is all of that, Star Wars is and always will be a love story. And this particular one, the last one, was a love story between the old cast and the new cast. They brought as many old characters in as they could have. Even from memories. I mean, Harrison Ford, they were able to bring him back in some way that made sense. They surprised us. They even brought in the Ewoks. I mean, it was just so cute. They did it right. They did it right by my book. They brought in as many people as they could, and it felt good. It felt good to see some of the old familiar faces, you know. I really appreciated that. It was a love story because the characters on set got to finally mourn Carrie Fisher. You know, seeing Chewie throw himself to the floor during that scene when he heard that she died. Oh my God, I'm sweating. You know, everybody had to fake that Carrie was dead during this movie. And they're using whatever technology, holograms, I don't know what. And then there was that scene where they could actually cry. And I thought in my heart that these people were actually crying. Because it's, you know, she was Star Wars. So, you know, Chewie throwing himself to the floor and really sobbing. That was special to me that they included that, because I felt that maybe the actor behind the mask felt that. I'm literally having a meltdown. Okay, I gotta calm down. So, you know, being able to include Chewie doing that was really great, because I feel like the actor himself felt that way, felt that pain. And everyone hugging and crying, that was real. It wasn't really for the movie. No, this is a mess. And then even C-3PO, when he looked at everybody, he said, my memory is going to be wiped, but I just want to look at my friends one last time. I know that that was just for the movie, but in a sense, it was also, he wanted to look at his friends one last time. This is it. This is the last rodeo. There were so many small moments in that film that was just, could have been interpreted two different ways, and I just thought it was so special. I just thought it was so well done. I really did. I mean, to hear the different people saying that they liked it and they didn't like it, I mean, it's shocking to me that people did not like that movie. The people that don't like movies, like people who don't like movies and have stink about movies like this, they just, to me, I feel like just want either attention or they want buzz about whatever they're trying to say. Like maybe they want views, or I don't know what it is. Like to me, like that movie was so well done as a final chapter. Like you had to sum up 30 plus years of cinematography and film and storytelling and love and just legacy. How are you going to do that in 2.5 hours better than that? I just don't know. Like the only thing that I wish didn't happen, obviously, is I wish Ben and Rey were able to be together, but that just doesn't happen in war. I mean, him dying was the ultimate sacrifice. And him dying, that was the only way that we could truly see that he became the Jedi that he always was. So in a way, him dying was so important because I got to see that his heart was good. I mean, we knew it, but the death of him disappearing showed us that in true form, he was a Jedi. So that needed to happen. It was like the most important part of the whole entire movie. He needed to die for us to understand that he truly did leave the dark side. How could you not want, I mean, I just don't understand the negativity. So I loved it. I haven't done a video on this channel in months. I actually went away to Europe for 2 weeks in August, and it completely flipped me on my side, and I just forgot about this channel entirely. I put it on my back burner because I came home, and from August to December, I have been playing massive catch up because I took 2 weeks off from my job. And I'm a blogger and an online influencer. I hate that term, but it is what it is. And I have had so much work from September, October, November, December that I just haven't had a chance to sit down and do these fun videos because I've just been crazy at the end of the year. That's just how life is. But I've loved this movie so much that it made me come back and film a freaking video on this channel. That is how much I love this video. I am crying. There is snot running down my nose. I mean, what do you want? How could anybody say that this movie is not good? You have to go see this movie. Adam Driver, Daisy, they all did such a good job. Even Finn, like, the one thing that I would have changed in this whole movie is, unless I missed it, what was Finn trying to tell Rey? Like, that he loved her? Was that what the whole thing was? I have to tell you something, I love you? I didn't get that because I thought that he liked the other girl. I mean, that was the one thing that I just did not understand. I did not understand that one storyline. Like, I was like, I thought you liked the other girl. Like, why are you trying to all of a sudden tell Rey that you like her? Like, where did that come from? Like, so that was the one thing that I was just like, did I go to the bathroom and I missed something? Like, what am I missing here? I think I have just missed one little tiny thing here. So the Rey, Finn, I have to tell you something. What did you want to tell her? Now, when is the good time to tell her? I need to know what you want to tell her. I missed that whole entire storyline. Did he end up telling anybody what he wanted to tell her? I just didn't get that. But I'm talking for 16 minutes, so I got to edit all my really hard cries out of this because I don't want to show you what a mess I am and how much therapy I need. And I just wanted just one more time. It was amazing. And I hope you guys feel the same exact way.